Hi, and welcome to another one of our brief videos on CA Technologies APM Cloud Monitor, an easy-to-use SaaS solution for web performance monitoring from the outside-in perspective of the end user. This video assumes that you already have Cloud Monitor credentials and have set up your account. If this isn't the case, you might want to watch our video on getting started with APM Cloud Monitor that provides information on obtaining a 30-day free trial and setting up the account. With that in mind, let's get started creating your first basic monitor. From a browser, if you type in ca.cloudmonitor.com, you'll be taken to the Cloud Monitor login page. So if you click on Sign In, you'll see a drop-down that allows you to enter the email that you provided when you requested credentials and the password that was emailed back to you. Once you're logged in, you'll see under the Setting tabs the word Monitors. Since that's where we're going to focus today, you're going to want to click on Monitors, and that's going to open up a window that looks like this. The Add Folders that's grayed out is really an option, but I strongly encourage that you use it to help organize your monitors, so as you build more and more monitors, you can keep them organized based on the function and the type of monitors that you create. You don't have to do this, but if you do, when you click on Add Folder, it's going to open up a window that's going to have a new folder, 1, 2, or just new folder entered in it. So you want to click on that to allow you to change the name of the folder. Once you do that, you're going to save the folder. So you'll see here that I entered my webcast test folder, and then you're going to click on Save. Once you do that, it will take you back to the page where you saw the Add Folder and the New Monitor button here in blue that you see on the left-hand side. So to create a monitor, you want to click on New Monitor. That's going to gray out the main screen and open up another screen that shows you the types of monitors that you can create. So there's synthetic, advanced synthetic, solutions pack, and real browser monitors. Today we're only going to talk about basic monitors, HTTP and HTTPS monitors, and creating those. So if you click on HTTP, it's going to open up a window that looks like this. So one of the things you want to do is give your monitor a name. Try and choose a name that's going to be something that makes sense. In the case of this particular monitor, I was going to call it CA Homepage so that I can monitor the CA Technologies homepage. Then the next thing that you want to do is supply the URL that you want this monitor to execute to. And if, in fact, you created a folder, if you come down to the line that says Folders and click on that drop-down box, what you would see is the list of folders that you've created. And you can decide to place that monitor in one of those folders. So the next thing that you probably want to take a look at is the frequency at which you want the monitor to execute. So as you can see here, you can set it as low as 1 minute. You can set it as long as 24 hours. So what that means is however many points of presence or monitoring stations that you've selected, one of those stations will execute this monitor at that particular interval. The other thing that you want to do is decide whether or not you want to know as soon as there is an error, or if you want to allow a couple of errors to occur before you actually get a warning notice. I usually set it to around 2 consecutive errors. It really depends on how frequently you have the monitoring running and the critical nature of the URL that you're monitoring. So after 2 errors, I want to be notified. And if you look at the next area on that screen, you'll see Alert Contacts. And you can see that I've put in there my email address, and actually that's the default from when the account was created. But you can have anybody notified when an error does occur. So then the next thing that you want to do is click on Save, and once you do that, you're basically off and running. That monitor will begin executing. You can see on this screen under the status column that there's a green circle with a check mark in it, which means that the monitor is active and executing properly. And that's really all there is to it. In about 3 minutes, you set up your first monitor and you're off and running. I do want to go back and talk for just a minute about another option that you want to take a look at. When you're on the Create Monitor page, if you look underneath the area where it says Folders, you'll see a box that says More Options. If you click on that, one of the options that I think is kind of interesting that you'll probably want to take a look at is the ability to select the checkpoints that you want to execute this monitor. You know, we've got almost 100 checkpoints around the world. If you're based in a particular region and not a global organization, you may not want to have every one of those stations executing the monitor that you've just created. So what you can do is if you click on that, what you'll see is an expansion that lists every one of the monitoring stations. The default is to have them all selected. So if you didn't change this, then every one of those monitoring stations at whatever interval you selected would rotate through and execute your transaction. You can see up at the top that we have things like Asia, USA, North America, Australia, and so forth. What you can do is if you click on the clear word that you see at the top of the page, that will uncheck all those boxes, and then you can reselect the monitoring stations that you want to execute by clicking on Asia, USA, North America, South America, and so forth. Or you can go through and select individual monitoring stations. Obviously, there's a lot more that you can do with APM Cloud Monitor. This session was just to get you up to speed to show you how to set up a basic HTTP monitor. Here's an example of what one of the performance charts would look like. This is for the monitor that you saw in this example with CA Technologies homepage being monitoring for about a 14-day period. And you can see what the response time was and what the components of response time are. There's a lot of different reports that you can get out of APM Cloud Monitor, and we'll address some of those in a future video. I hope you've enjoyed this session and that it's helped you get started with APM Cloud Monitor. Thanks for watching.